I've been getting a lot of first date cancellations day of. What am I doing wrong?
Well, if you're getting a lot of cancellations the day of, you're probably making dates with girls that aren't that into you, or especially if a guy's doing strictly online dating and you just don't have enough rapport with the girl. It's clear she doesn't want to go out on a date with you. So you gotta spend a little bit more time vetting her, and because ideally the best way to do online dating, you should at least talk to a woman for about 10-15 minutes before you try to set up a date, just so you can see how the conversation flows. I mean, you can make dates and meet up with somebody from Tinder or one of the other dating apps after a few messages, because it is known as the hookup app. But if you're on Bumble and some of the other ones are the girls are ideally looking more for a relationship, it's better that if you spend 10 to 15 minutes talking, because you got to look at the conversation. If it doesn't flow and go well and you don't really enjoy talking to her and listening to her, or vice versa, then there's no reason to go out on a date. So if you're getting a lot of date cancellations, you're getting girls that are agreeing to dates that don't really want to go on a date with you, or maybe they're agreeing to it on the phone, they're saying yes, they feel guilty, and then they cancel the day of. So you just got to do a better job of vetting and pre-screening. And like I said, if you do a little bit more, because you see that a lot, that's probably because when most of the guys I talk to, it's like I was talking to a guy the other night's having a hard time, and it's like everything he's doing is relying upon online dating, and he just is terrified to talk to women in person. And if you're relying on a dating app to meet, talk, or converse with somebody, but you're not actually talking on the phone, and then you're kind of weird and awkward already as it is because you're trying to do everything through the phone app, then when you get together in person, the date's not going to go that well. And so that's why it's much better in the long run if you can get good at making small talk in person. And because again, if you're just strictly texting and then you think you're just going to show up and magic's going to happen, if you're having a hard time conversing on the phone, it's not going to go better in person. It's typically going to go worse. And so if your conversations are not flowing and you're not having fun, and she doesn't really seem to be that into talking to you on the phone, and she's not excited to make a date with you, then just because you're talking to her on the phone and you got her number doesn't mean you actually have to make a date and go on it. So it's just going to take time and repetition to get better at it, because like I said, that happens a lot. That happened to me when I really started spending time and getting options. That oftentimes you'll make dates with girls that just really aren't that into it, and you can't tell when you don't know any better and you haven't been through enough interactions with women to tell who's really into you and who's just trying to be nice because they don't want to reject you in person or over the phone, whatever it happens to be. So you got to get to a place where when you talk and you converse, it's just smooth. It goes from like one conversation thread to the next, because if there's weird awkward pauses and you're not comfortable and you seem nervous or something's off, a girl's going to get kind of a weird vibe and she's going to dip on you.
And you also wanted to do it so you can get like a weird vibe from the girl too, because something could get wrong with her too. So you don't want to waste your money going on a date or like giving your phone, like meeting up
Yeah.
with her and be like, oh, this girl's a creep. Like,
You gotta, if you can't hold a good conversation for 10 or 15 minutes on the phone, then it's not going to go better in person. So I'd say spend more time talking on the phone, at least 10 to 15 minutes before you invite her for a date in person, just so you can see what she sounds like. And even better, if she's willing to FaceTime with you, then you can kind of get a feel for what she's like. And it's a lot easier to read her body language if you can see her versus just listening
yeah.
to the tone of her
And see if
voice.
it's like actually have like rapport and stuff, and it's not
Yeah.
like doesn't feel like an interview.
Yeah, if you're not excited to talk to her and the conversation's not fun and enjoyable, you can't, and then you make a date, you can't expect it. She's probably going to dip just because, again, if it doesn't flow on the phone, it's not going to flow in person. And women are going to be more intuitive than that. And that's why they'll cancel the dates later or the day of, because they're just like, eh. Or they got a better offer, or they met somebody that they
Yeah.
liked more.
Yeah, usually on those like Tinder apps and stuff, you have like backup dates or like backup people because people are talking to multiple people on those. They're like, I'll go out with
I
Jimmy.
think it's more chicks actually. I think guys don't talk to a lot of
Yeah,
like.
you're
That's what I'm
entering.
saying.
It's like a different
The
dynamic.
women have all the leverage in the dating apps because there's so many dudes that are after them. And plus, I think it's like 80% of the women have their height filter set to 6 feet and above. So dudes that are shorter than that, even though they might be swiping on profiles, those girls are never going to see their profiles because they didn't, meet the minimum height level. But if you'd have met that girl in person and clicked, even though you're not 6 feet, 9 times out of 10, she's going to go out with you.
Short case.
Versus online dating where she's not even going to see your profile.
Yeah.
But you feel like you're doing something because you're seeing all these girls and you're swiping left, swiping right, type of thing. So you got to keep that in mind.
There's also nothing wrong with staying home.
If you don't enjoy your own company, if you're not excited about your own life, it's going to be pretty hard to get a girl excited about it. So if she's talking to you on the phone and you don't really sound like you're very happy or high energy or enthusiastic, she's going to be like, well, this guy sounds like he's about as much fun as watching paint dry. I think I'll pass. I think I'll call Chad Thundercock.